Alrighty, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Episode 2 is finally out, and I gotta say that this was probably the most straightforward episode of JoJo that I have seen from the series so far. I mean, just what was contained within this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was just really interesting, because I did not really think we would actually get this much context revolving around Giorno's character as of right now. I thought this would have been placed out, you know, further down the line, maybe a few more episodes to come, but no. In episode 2, we pretty much got a pretty good chunk of Giorno's backstory of his childhood within this episode. So what we learn about Giorno in this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is that Giorno did not really have the best childhood whatsoever. Not only is he the supposed son to Dio Brando, which is a complete psychopath in his own right, but we also find out that Giorno's mother would isolate herself from him, completely neglecting him. And one thing about the whole mother situation that I found pretty interesting, in which actually the anime brings up as well, is that Dio Brando was really not one for, you know, getting really intimate with women. He saw women as tools and or would, you know, necessarily kill them off, because he simply just did not give a fuck whatsoever. So to hear about that Dio Brando could have actually helped in the procreation of a child, which in this case is Giorno, is very interesting. So yeah, when it comes down to the whole Dio situation, as well as who, you know, Giorno's mother could be and whatnot, you know, it is pretty confusing, but maybe we'll see more from that later down the line. As of right now, things are still kind of hazy whether or not Giorno is the real son to Dio and what have you. We're just going off of speculations. Well, at least when it comes down to the anime onlys, okay? So you manga readers probably know exactly what is going on, and if you do, please don't leave any spoilers in the comments down below. I'm trying to go into the series completely blind, but feel free to, I guess, you know, leave your thoughts in the comments down below as well. Just be wary of spoilers, please. But yeah, anyways, carrying on, not only does Giorno have, you know, a bad upbringing with, you know, the mother and the father situation, you know, he didn't have a father growing up, and also his father is a supposed, you know, psychopath, if Dio is in fact the real father to Giorno, and the mother would isolate herself, completely neglecting him. But also, when the mother actually married again, the stepfather to Giorno would abuse him when the mother wasn't looking. And not only this, but he would also get bullied by the other kids in the streets of Italy. So yeah, growing up, Giorno did not really have the best life whatsoever, which is most likely why we see him as a sort of thief of sorts in the beginning parts of JoJo, you know, completely, you know, taking on the mischief of, you know, the environment that he grew up in, as well as the way he grew up as well. However, this doesn't make Giorno a bad character necessarily. We also come to find out that Giorno's stand ability he has had since he was a kid. He just didn't know about the power he had. There was actually this one instance in which some guy who happened to be a gangster was actually being assaulted by this other mob gang, I guess, and I guess Giorno ended up saving his life by, you know, pointing the finger in the other direction, so to speak. So he basically used this ability to save the man that was being attacked, and I guess Giorno's ability is essentially to bring new life to anything it touches. So basically, I guess the grass in which, you know, he basically did this subconsciously, apparently, from what the anime is stating, but he was able to actually grow the grass taller, so that way the man was able to hide behind the grass from the people who were coming after him. And 2 months after the incident occurred, all the people who were related to Giorno began to treat him better, or stopped the abuse they laid upon him originally, because of the fact that he saved this man who happened to be a gangster. So that I found was pretty cool, and due to that, it kind of also ties into the plot a bit, as maybe we'll also see this character appear later down the line as well. I think that would be very interesting, and for all we know, actually, now that I think about it, he is actually the head honcho of the gang that Bruno is a part of. And if Giorno wants to become this insane main gang star member and take down the mob boss that Bruno works for in order for him to make it in a place in which Italy is, you know, free of drugs and free of this, you know, crime and whatnot. Basically to make the place a better place for itself necessarily. That would be very, very interesting if Giorno has to take down the man in which he once saved. That would be very, very interesting if that's where the plot is headed. We also find out a little bit more about Giorno's ability in this episode, as well as apparently, I guess, when it comes down to his ability, he can actually change any object into any living thing. An example of this would be in the episode he actually changed one of Bruno's teeth, excuse me, to a insect, like a fly. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So that means he can actually make any living object into any living thing, any, you know, animal or what have you. So I find that really, really interesting, but I also want to see some of the drawbacks to that as well. Now, if he was to use this on a person, say, for example, there is already something that is living, like Bruno, for example, okay? If he was actually to use that on a living person, it actually provides them with extra life energy to the point that their senses go berserk, which makes them kind of unstable to fight whatsoever, because they have no, you know, control of their body necessarily. So yeah, when it comes down to the rest of the episode basically just showcased the Giorno versus Bruno fight, and I was actually really entertained with that fight. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. It seems as though at the conclusion of the episode, like I stated before, it seems as though Giorno states to Bruno that he is going to become a gang star member and take down the mob boss that works for Bruno in order for Giorno to basically be the new, you know, leader, so to speak, of the city or what have you, and make it a better place in which there is no drugs being sold to children and all that other crime stuff and what have you. So yeah, but now really quick before we go, I just wanted to say that the OP of JoJo looks very stylized, and I really do love it. When it comes down to the art and animation of this part of JoJo, personally, I'm really digging it. I know I saw a few comments in the comment section on my previous video for episode 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, and there were a few people who weren't really, you know, that keen on it, but personally, I really do like the art style to this part of JoJo, and the OP is really, really cool. I wouldn't say it's, you know, my personal favorite of, you know, the parts that have been released, but I will definitely say that this OP is really not that bad, but stylistic-wise, it is really good. Now, when it comes down to the JoJo ED, I just can't believe that they actually took Jodeci's Freakin' You. This is, I don't see this as a song that fits JoJo. This is more of a song in which you fuck a girl to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really surprised that they actually went with this. But yeah, this is something that you would, you know, put on late at night, you know, under the moonlight, you know, setting up those candles for your first time ever or something like that, and getting freaky with a girl. I'm really surprised that they used this in JoJo, so let me know what you thought about that. But anyways, guys, with that said, let me know what you thought about this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the comments down below. What did you think of the OP? What did you think of the ED? How did you think of the direction of the episode went? How did it differ from the manga? If it did differ from the manga in a big way, please don't leave any spoilers in the comment section down below, because that could be established in future episodes. So try your very best, please, manga readers, to keep spoilers at a minimal. And with that stated, everyone, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that red subscribe button if you want to see more anime and gaming content from me. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next one.